Good morning. It is good to be back on the Camnet Breakfast Show, and I would like to extend Happy New Year to everyone whom we are meeting for the first time. Have been away on the Breakfast Show. Miriam Kayemba and Nelson Zulu have been in the business, but I'm back, hoping to catch up and pick up from where we left in 2023. My name is Patrick Soko, and today we have a fully packed breakfast show for you, our dear viewers, wherever you are watching us from. Remember that this program is brought to you courtesy of Camnet TV, and just to make sure that you and us, our viewers, we interact and talk about issues affecting us in various localities. So right about now, we are going to go straight into our first segment, which is the Health Corner with the doctors.
Hi, and welcome to the Health Corner here on the Breakfast Show. I am Dr. Nakubia Namfaya. So this week we are talking about breast cancer, and yesterday we talked about some of the risk factors of breast cancer. We say that people who have breast cancer would have certain risk factors, and these risk factors include being able to start your periods very early before the age of 12, and also if you start your menopause late after the age of 55, you are increasing your risk of having breast cancer. Also, if people are exposed to radiation, they're also increasing their risk of breast cancer. Smoking and taking alcohol can also increase your risk of breast cancer, and even being obese and overweight and not exercising. So today I want to understand what are some of the signs and symptoms. How can you know that you are developing breast cancer or that you are having breast cancer? Or how can you be able to tell that these are some of the things that I'm experiencing that might likely be cancer? So one of the things is that you'll be able to notice a change or changes in your breast. So it can just be one breast or both breasts, but most of the times it's usually one breast. So you would find that one breast is bigger than the other breast, and sometimes you might even feel a lump or a mass inside the breast. So you might feel something inside the breast. And then other times you might also experience some changes in the skin on the breast. So you might see some discoloration or some changes that we peel d'orange, which looks like an orange peel. So you might notice that the breast looks like an orange peel, and that's one of the signs that you might be having a breast cancer. The other thing is that you might notice a nipple discharge. So you might find that your nipples are producing a certain fluid. Most of the time it has some blood in it. So if you notice any kind of discharge in your breast, most of the times only on the affected breast or on one breast, and you would find that it has some blood inside. And so those are some of the risk factors that you need to look out for people who have breast cancer. So today we're talking about the signs and symptoms of breast cancer, and we've said that some of the signs and symptoms include having a difference in size of the breast, and so you would find that one breast is bigger than the other, and then you would be able to feel a mass or a lump inside the breast. The other thing is that you might see some discoloration on the breast. You can see sometimes it looks like an orange peel, which we call peel d'orange, and sometimes it just looks like a certain discoloration. So you should be able to look out for some of these signs. The other thing is that you might have a nipple discharge. It might be a bloody discharge most of the times. So these are some of the signs or some of the things that you need to look out for to be able to tell if you have breast cancer or not. If you notice any of these things, make sure that you go to the hospital to get checked, and make sure that you seek treatment early. And so tomorrow we'll be discussing how is a breast cancer diagnosed in the hospital, and what are some of the treatment options. What options do you have for treatment or for the treatment of breast cancer? So make sure you watch again tomorrow we'll be talking about the diagnosis and treatment of breast cancer. I do hope you have learned something today, and if you have missed any other episodes, make sure you watch my YouTube channel where you'll be able to find all the things that we talk about here on the Health Corner. Make sure that you stay healthy and stay blessed. I'll see you again tomorrow.
Well, there you have it. That was the Health Corner with Dr. Nakobiana Mufaya. And as always, we do advise that you can always suggest some of the topics, especially for 2024. We are looking at new topics that you think our doctor can handle on the Health Corner. And talking about cholera, that is something that we're going to be prioritizing, especially for this month, so that we can continue to spread awareness pertaining to cholera. So we'll be looking at the subject also on cholera this month, so that we can get our viewers educated pertaining to this disease. As you already know, cholera is already devastating various communities of Lusaka and beyond, and it is something that needs a collective effort for us to address as a country. And right about now, we are going to look at our next segment. This is where we get to understand how the kwacha is performing against other major convertibles. Now, let's have a look. Now, $1 is buying at 25 kwacha 76 ngwe and selling at 26 kwacha 27 ngwe. The euro is buying at 28 kwacha 19 ngwe and selling at 28 kwacha 75 ngwe. The Great British Pound is buying at 32 kwacha 79 ngwe and selling at 33 kwacha 49 ngwe. The South African Rand is buying at 1 kwacha 380 ngwe and selling at 1 kwacha 41 ngwe. So those are your money market updated this morning, the 10th of January 2024, and at 0717. Interesting enough, we are seeing that the kwacha is still not performing as expected. We expected to be in the range of 17, 18, 19, probably even 20, but now it's on 26. And this is how I'm going to welcome Miriam Kaimba on the set to tell me about the kwacha and what she thinks.
Good morning, Soko. How are you?
Fine, how are you?
I'm fine. I haven't seen you this year.
Exactly. I was just greeting the viewers to say my first edition of the Breakfast Show for 2024, and someone else has been taking my space here.
Nelson, yes, he did take your space. Yeah, it has been quite interesting to share the set with him, but I'm glad that you're back, and Happy New Year to you.
Is 2024 positive?
Yeah, it is.
Are you maintaining the positivity?
We have always been maintaining the positivity.
You didn't leave it in 2023?
Really, Soko? Really?
I need assurance.
Anyway,
because you inspire a lot of us.
I'm glad I do inspire you, and you know, 2024, I'm trying to ensure that I inspire you even more, you know, to ensure that you maintain your positivity. And I'm glad that even Nelson, he is tapping in from the positivity, and I hope our viewers out there are indeed tapping in from our positivity. Of course, we have been told that both at talking about at national level, that, you know, government has put in mechanism to ensure that they address some of the challenges that the country is facing, among them the high cost of living. We did see the president last year, his last press briefing that he had held, you know, assuring the nation that, you know, a lot of mechanisms are being put in place to address the high cost of living, among other issues. So indeed, both at national levels, we expect to see more development, as well as personal level. So we ensure that, you know, we keep that positivity going.
Indeed. I understand it's a pity I wasn't here on 1st January, Miriam, but I understand probably there are some of the resolutions that we have for 2024. What are some of those key issues that we are looking at?
Well, basically, when we talk about Camnet TV, we are trying to ensure that, you know, we bring in nothing but the best to our viewers, in terms of new content, as well as the news. We're trying, to ensure that, we cover all corners of the country in terms of bringing out information to our public out there. So indeed, it will be quite an interesting year. Our viewers should indeed look out for that new information that we are about to bring to them. Yeah.
Thank you. Well, like we say, we always keep it a positive. Being a Wednesday like this, we are keeping it positive, like Miriam always said, and always says. So we're looking at the aspect of positivity. We can still learn something or impress what the Minister of Finance and National Planning, Dr. Stumbeko Musogotwane, did highlight when he was making the first quarter press conference, where he did outline some various issues pertaining to the debt restructuring and various interventions the government is putting in place to make sure that the economy is back on track. He did make a projection, and he said 2024 looks positive, and we can only hope it is positive. But at personal level, we cannot only depend on whatever the government is going to do to make sure that things work out for us. It depends on collective hard work. So at individual and personal level, what sort of commitment are we injecting into the economy to make sure that we contribute towards national development? Then it means overall, if families are developed, it means communities are developed. If communities are developed, it means constituencies are developed. If constituencies are developed, it means that districts are developed. If districts are developed, provinces are developed. If provinces are developed, the nation is developed.
The nation is developed, and development indeed reach to the extreme people in these rural areas. That is what we want to see at the end of the day. I know quite all right, 2024 has started on a very challenging note, given the fact that we have continued to record high cases of cholera as a country. But we hope that, we fight this before the situation escalates even more, because we have seen that a lot of people are dying from this waterborne disease. So indeed, we have seen that yesterday the president had a meeting at Community House, with various stakeholders, among them the Minister of Health, Silva Maseo, just to ensure highlighting some of the things that has been put on the ground to ensure that this issue is adequately addressed.
Indeed, we can only hope that the measures that the government is putting in place will work as expected, because it is important that we go through this phase of cholera, because cholera is a detrimental disease in that it claims life. It has minimal differences with COVID-19. But cholera, the beauty about cholera, that it is manageable, it is preventable. So
even a beauty.
I may call it that, but like it's a manageable disease.
I get your point.
You understand that with COVID-19, we didn't even know what to touch.
Yes.
We didn't even know which one is the cure,
because it was the first time that we were
but with cholera, we even have a vaccine in place. And we also have it is treatable, it's manageable if dictated area, and if you also take the advice by the doctors. If you just suspect that you have cholera, what you need to do, it is manageable in that way. Indeed. So at least it's a manageable disease. In fact, it's even preventable. We can even have a cholera-free Zambia. Now that speaks to how proactive we are. And we did have a program yesterday, Miriam, from I was someone who understands these issues pertaining to public health. He was mentioning the aspect of proactive and curative aspects of health. So we are focusing on the curative, providing treatment and everything, and not focusing on prevention, because they say prevention is better than cure. So now, even this cholera, I understand that there are some departments that are responsible to understand these pandemics and some of the threats. For example, we understand that sometimes typhoid does emerge. We understand, for example, in the Ministry of Livestock, that we do have cattle diseases such as the how do they call dengue, that disease for cattle. We know how to manage that. So we have to project to say, what are the conditions that make that disease thrive? Then we seek to mitigate those conditions so that that disease does not thrive. It does not attack our animals. It is the same with this disease.
One thing when we talk about cholera, one thing that we should continue to advocate and raise awareness amongst members of the public is that there's a lot of stigma. You'll find that a lot of people would want to shun away, to visit a nearest health facility if they suspect that they have cholera, given the fact that they are afraid, especially in these our communities where cholera, it has been associated with this. So there's a lot of stigma, and we did see that the Vice President last week did advise people to stop stigmatizing patients with cholera, or if they suspect that their neighbors have cholera, but ensure that they take them to a nearest health facility. And I think these are some of the awareness that we need to raise more, because the stigma is still there. Patrick,
you mentioned an important aspect of stigma. Yes, indeed, the stigma is something that is associated with cholera, just like other deadly diseases like COVID-19 we saw, like TB.
Yes.
Cholera is one such disease that has a lot of stigma. Pari bandani pari cholera, so people stop even passing through. You go and buy it, babuyan drama ya cholera.
Yes.
So all those things, but it's not like that, so but we need to just also observe the guidelines, washing our hands frequently, like we did under COVID-19. We have to make sure that we do just that, because cholera thrives in deity, you understand. So we also have to make sure that we boil our water before drinking. If we don't have chlorine, we boil our water. Sometimes, people think that what is only safe is mineral water. You know that also mineral water is produced from these same boreholes that we may be getting. Sometimes others even use mineral water from Lusaka water, because the water from Lusaka Water and Sanitation Company is well treated. And some companies just trade off with Lusaka water, and they just use the same water. What differs is the packaging. You understand? They just repackage it and everything. But however, what is important is that we take precaution, making sure that boiling water is actually vital, to just make sure we destroy this bacteria, and washing hands. And we have to take care of the young ones, because the sad part is that we have seen that even the babies are now being affected, So you are a parent, you change the baby diapers, you don't wash your hands, and you're breastfeeding this baby. Again, let's take precaution, especially parents that are breastfeeding. We have to make sure that we protect the little ones.
We have also seen expectant mothers, being...
Yeah, and that is not good, because it poses a risk to the mother and the unborn child. So we just have to make sure that we are more proactive in addressing this cholera. We can manage it, especially that it thrives under the rainy season, and with the flood situation in various parts of Lusaka, we tend to see cholera thriving there. Do you have a story on cholera, so that we can just start zooming the stories with that?
Exactly. This is where we start on our next segment, which is zooming in the headlines, rather looking at some of the stories that made headlines in our news yesterday. And just a reminder to you, our viewers who have just tuned in, this is the Camnet TV Breakfast Show. And in case you want to take part in our conversation this morning, you can simply dial at those numbers that are scrolling on your screen if you're watching us in the comfort of your home. And if indeed you're watching us live on Facebook, you can drop us that message and let us get interacted. And we're moving forward. We did see a story where Zambia has continued recording high numbers of cholera cases daily, with 743 new cases recorded in the last 24 hours countrywide. In the same period, 25 deaths were recorded, bringing accumulative deaths to 274. Since October last year, which is 2023, the country has recorded over 7,000 cases after 35 districts across the country. Let's get to look at that report.
Also known as a disease of poverty, for affecting people with inadequate access to safe water and basic sanitation, is an acute diarrheal disease that can kill within hours if left untreated. Zambia has experienced cholera since 1977, with Lusaka being one of the highest hotspots of the disease in the country. 47 years later, the country has continued recording high numbers of the disease, with over 7,000 recorded in just 4 months. In the last 24 hours, the country has recorded 743 cases, with 25 deaths, as updated by Minister of Health, Sylvia Masevo.
We have observed a sharp rise in the number of cholera cases from October last year, 2023. And since then, a total of 35 districts have so far confirmed cholera outbreaks. And in the past 24 hours, looking at the whole nation, we have recorded 743 cases countrywide. And cumulative cases as of today's stand at 7,004, starting from last year in October to now. So out of the 7,004 that we've recorded since then, we have a total of 1,305 patients that are inactive. Sadly, we have lost 25 patients today countrywide. That is in the last 24 hours.
Cholera epidemics are associated with poor water and sanitation infrastructure that help the spread of the bacterium. Unfortunately, approximately 68% of the households in Zambia have access to improved water supply, but only 40% have improved sanitation. The question of whether lack of investment in water and sanitation infrastructure is the cause, it is important to acknowledge that Zambia is urbanizing rapidly, and cities like Lusaka are subject to high population growth, particularly in peri-urban areas that lack water and sanitation facilities. A million-dollar question that begs answers is, do authorities foresee such outbreaks, especially with uncollected garbage in most parts of the city, including the central business district? Unlike running up and down when there is a disease outbreak, there is need to put in place preventive measures. As a white man once put it, prevention is better than cure. Vincent Piri for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
Quite interesting story out there. We have seen that as a country we have continued to record high numbers of cholera cases, and we have been assured by government that, you know, mechanism, a lot of different approaches are being put in place to ensure that this issue is adequately addressed. But Soko, in 2018 we were hit with a cholera outbreak. And again, this is 2023, anyway, end of 2023 we're hit, now we're into 2024. Do you think this is high time that we suspend certain gathering to ensure that, you know, we see how best we can fight this pandemic?
Well, those are among interventions that the government may consider if the situation worsens. But we understand that they are also looking at risk businesses that may be spreading cholera. Miriam Kaimbo likes to my salads. The Minister of Health said no salads, please. Low food, to avoid them. You know, but you know, it's not easy to avoid some of these small things. But usually when we have gatherings, those are some of the things that can start. You know,
when you go in town, especially Kudimata, you'll find some guys doing to my mchopo.
You even know mchopo.
You need to know these things, Patrick. You need to know these things. And you'll find a lot of people, you know, who gather around trying to, you know, have a bite, a taste, but they don't understand or realize the implication, given the fact that, you know, we're in the cholera situation at the moment. And
Indeed.
we're looking at the place where they're trading from. Okay?
Indeed. So that's why the Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Honorable Garin Kombo, was mentioning an aspect of reducing on the or closing down or shutting down some of the businesses that may be posing risks to cholera, such as restaurants
Yes.
that are in a bad condition.
Yeah.
So they are looking at that issue critically, and they are trying to make sure that most areas that may be prone to cholera are attended to, make sure that we abate the situation. Because sometimes you understand, like, you know, you prepare the environment where you are preparing, probably you don't even have a toilet.
Yes.
And that people, you know, this open defecation is also another problem that we have in the CBD.
Sanitary conditions.
So, and sanitary conditions. So, like, let's say the area around downtown Miriam Kemba,
Yes.
you and I are privy to the fact that the bridge there is in a very, very unsanitary condition. The Mississippi Bridge, the downtown footbridge, they are in a mess.
Even
because
the,
you'd find that now that it is raining,
the situation, it's worse. You
Yes.
find garbage being thrown at anyhow.
So that fecal matter that is on the bridge, now that it is raining, it is moving all over the city, and sometimes people are stepping on it. You are stepping it with your shoes. You may carry a fecal matter that has the cholera in it. You understand? And I know it's disgusting, but I'm trying to explain to you the scenario there that is so unpleasing. So we are stepping on it. We are moving with this cholera bacteria everywhere. And
you find that this person who has stepped on this waste material, they go to a nearby restaurant, have their meal there.
Yes, and they step into the restaurant. There's this fly steps, it goes there. The fly goes from there to the food. That's where the cholera comes.
And yes, on Sunday we did see the Ministry of Local Government, Lusaka City Council, indeed, you know, closing down over 5 restaurants at Lumumba bus station because they were operating under unsanitary condition and without permits. So these are some of the measures.
Yes, so we have to make sure that, for example, before people get into the hostel, you have something that where people, when they step in, it disinfects their shoes.
Their shoes, yes.
You have a washing bay to make sure that people are safe, to avoid risking people's lives.
And this is the time that people should be moving around with hand sanitizers.
Yes, I think we need to get back to that.
Yeah.
We need to.
Because a lot of people, I saw a lot of people had that now tendency, that mindset of moving around with their hand sanitizer during the COVID-19 pandemic. Now they think, okay, but you can still carry that around.
Yeah, we still need now those hand sanitizers. You're right, and we need to make sure that we are safe. So equally, the aspect of restaurants and everything poses a risk. Bars, some of the bars don't meet conditions. You'd find that a bar has only one toilet, this same toilet is not well maintained. So all those things are the things that are leading to cholera.
You know, there's a time that I did a story in Kalingalinga compound looking at the health condition, this sanitation part about these bars in our communities. I visited Kalingalinga compound, and what I saw, Patrick, no one would want to be in such a condition, to see such a situation. It was worse, and I said to myself, you know what? This is the reason why a lot of people, you know, get infected with certain diseases without knowing exactly where they get the disease from. Someone would even claim, but without knowing that maybe it's that toilet that they used because it was under unsanitary condition, it was not well cleaned. This is the reason why they got that infection, and people do not understand that. So these bars, I think Lusaka City Council should, you know, take up this mandate. These bars which are operating in our communities, they should do some checkups.
Exactly.
Yeah, if they are not in a very sanitary condition, they should be closed down.
Exactly. And talking about that, Miriam, that reminds me, we also have to dispel one myth there that cachaso cures cholera.
Oh,
you find people, even those that don't drink alcohol, say cachaso because this spirit is so strong, so when it goes into the stomach, it is killing this bacteria.
Yes.
No, please, that's medical prescription, and cachaso is nowhere near medicine. So let's avoid self prescriptions like that. Cachaso is not a cure to cholera, please. So in case you want to join the conversation, you are free to do so, and we are happy to get your perspective pertaining to the issue of cholera. How is the cholera situation in your area, and how is the sanitation position, so that we see which areas may be likely to be hotspots of this disease, and what are you suggesting to the government in terms of us as a country combating cholera. So we'll be getting your perspective, and the phone lines are open in case you want to join the conversation. The number is on your screen, and just give us that call and we'll be happy to take in your perspective here on the Camnet Breakfast Show. Now, moving on the program, we also have to look at other stories that are making the headlines. Miriam.
Yes, moving on, we have seen a story coming from the Human Rights Commission, who have appealed to institutions of justice delivery to take special measures designed to protect individuals in detention, correctional, and other deprivation of liberty facilities from contracting the deadly waterborne disease. We did see the Commission spokesperson, Mr. Mlewa Mleyas, who said he's concerned and worried that if cholera outbreak in such overcrowded facilities such as prisons with inherent poor hygiene conditions, it may jeopardize the rights to health and life of persons held in such facilities, including officers manning those facilities. Yes, Patrick, we don't mean that those in these correctional facility, back when we used to call them prisons, are not mandated to have, be put in a hygienic place. Doesn't mean that if one is in custody, they're not free to have certain, rights. It doesn't mean that. So there's need also to ensure that, they are protected while they're there, because we're also looking at officers who are, looking after them, because these people interact with these inmates, and once they leave those places, they come to the society, the outside. It's very easy if to spread the disease if they got it from one of the inmates. So I'm sure that's a very good appeal that they are calling upon to ensure that the sanitary condition in these facilities is well looked at as well. Yeah, indeed,
it is an important aspect. So we hope that authorities will intervene. But let's listen to Mr. Mwewa Muleya pertaining to that story there.
In view of the escalating cases of cholera in the country, the Human Rights Commission is appealing for adequate preventive measures in detention and correctional facilities to ensure that there is no outbreak of the disease in such facilities. Individuals deprived of liberty, such as suspects and inmates, are vulnerable, extremely vulnerable, and highly exposed to a number of diseases in those facilities because of the overcrowding, inadequate access to clean and safe drinking water, as well as sanitation facilities. So it would be very difficult to contain the outbreak of cholera in such facilities if it had to break out. It's for this reason that we call upon the Zambia Police Service to enhance their discretionary powers of granting police bond to suspects that deserve or are eligible to be granted police bond. On the other hand, we appeal for collaboration and improved understanding among the lawyers and the National Prosecution Authority, as well as the judiciary, to ensure that they facilitate the granting of bail to the accused persons that are eligible in order to avoid unnecessary overcrowding in the correctional facilities. We appeal to other stakeholders that they should come to the aid of such detention and correctional facilities to support them to prevent the outbreak of cholera.
There you have it. That was a story pertaining to the Human Rights Commission talking about the plight of inmates in correctional facilities in the country. It was emphatic pertaining to the aspect of us as a country upholding the rights of inmates regarding considering the fact that their right to health is not should not be affected just because they are in incarceration. So it was emphasizing that point that all the other rights they have to enjoy them. The only right that they have has been restricted is the right to movement, and they are being confined in that facility. But they have the right to health. They have the right to have access to food. They have a right to have information, to receive information, and everything. So Mr. Mulia was just emphasizing that even as we talk about Korea, those facilities, we should also make sure that they are looked at, because who knows, like you said, Miriam, someone may be getting a cholera from the correctional facility and taking it to the community, because probably if the facility is not well maintained. So that's why he was emphasizing on the need to make sure that the facilities uphold good sanitation. So even those people that donate to prisons, they can do so that these issues within to chlorine, the cleaning is so you can complement the Zambia correction facility.
We have seen that Monali, a member of parliament, Mike Bosha, who is also a water minister, you know, who previously, I mean last week, he was donating some chlorine in Monali constituency. I think this is a very, at Kamanga Market, this is a very good move initiative, and I think it should be done in all the communities to ensure that, you know, people have this chlorine, as we are trying, you know, to prevent cholera, the spread of cholera. But anyway, moving forward, before we go to another interesting story of Patrick, let's just take a short break and we'll be right back.
Introducing Kapi Lodges Kafiwe, a beautiful place to spend your night. At Kapi Lodges, we have affordable and comfortable rooms to meet your expectations. We are located along Kafiwe Road, Shimabala area. For more details, contact us on +260 979 476307 or +260 976 057123 or +260 764 700 003. Email kapilodges@gmail.com. Kapi Lodges, my second comfort, home.
Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process. Get informed on those who have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond or bail victims, persons taking plea, court adjournments, verdicts, and those administration issues in the judiciary. Camnet TV is on channel 274 on DSTV, channel 25 on GoTV, and find us on channel 106 on Topstar. You can also follow and give us a like on our social media platforms. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Are you planning to marry or get married? Contact the Camnet Media team for a professional capturing of your big day in life. Let your relatives, friends, and the nation join you in celebrating your big day on television. Just at a manageable fee, Camnet Television will cover and transmit your wedding on your channel of choice. Contact the marketing department on mobile number. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
I give my love to having home.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. Rain Glow, your smart irrigation partner.
Thank you for staying with us on the Camnet Breakfast Show. My name is Patrick Soko and my usual co-host Miriam Kaemba, and we'll be with you from the hour of 7, and we've quite discussed a number of issues, and we are moving on to another interesting story. Miriam, what story is that?
Quite interesting story. We did see the Judicial and Allied Workers Union of Zambia President Peter Mwale, who has accused the Zambia National Service Commandant, Lieutenant General Maliti Sodochi, of what he terms as abuse of office. Now listen to this. Mr. Mwale claims that ZNS officers stopped other motor vehicles to allow the ZNS commandant pass, hence inconveniencing other motorists. Mr. Mwale says people in uniform should not abuse their authority by threatening other road users. He says there is no law that empowers the commandant to stop traffic, saying traffic management is the passive of the Zambia police. He has since reported the matter to the police, hoping that justice will be served on the matter. Meanwhile, Zambia police spokesperson Ray Hamonga has confirmed receiving the complaint from Mr. Mwale against the ZNS commander. Let's get to look at that story.
I want them to act. The police, be professional. Fear not, because you are doing what the law tells you to do. I reported this matter, and I want to see thorough investigation into this matter. And anyone who is found to break the law, they should be taken to courts of law, and the courts of law will determine whether what they did was lawful or unlawful. But over and above this country, let us not encourage lawlessness. Commanders instructing their officers to stop traffic, that is lawlessness. In the end now, you see now, even Zawa, Director General, instructing Zawa officers to stop traffic. That's lawlessness. You see ZRA now, Commissioner General, instructing officers to stop to join the road. That's lawlessness. We are not interested in lawlessness in this country. We are law-abiding citizens. Me personally, the car I was driving is a fit, everything is there. I'm a licensed driver. I'm a citizen of Zambia. The Constitution of Zambia allows me to drive in any road in this country. There's no way a commander of national service can stop me. He has no right. He has no right. Just like me, I have no right to stop anybody. Only the president and the vice president have a right to stop traffic. This matter is a serious matter, and I will not end here. I will see to it that this matter is taken to its logical conclusion. Enough is enough. There's no way people in authority, particularly commanders of national service and their officers, they are disturbing peace, threatening people because they are uniform in authority. No, that me I will not allow. As myself, I will not allow that one.
I can confirm to you that you have received the report from Mr. Mwale, but as police will have initiated investigations to ascertain the allegations.
Quite interesting views there from the Judicial and Allied Workers Union of Zambia President Mr. Peter Mwale, who says he has reported the ZNS commandant for abuse of authority. Patrick, your comment.
I'm slightly confused. Okay.
Because basically, we have seen that most of the times when these vehicles of people who hold a position in these public offices, most of the times if they are passing through, even when there's traffic, you see, you know, the road being, motorists being requested to clear the road so that they leave way, chances for them to pass. But for him, he holds the view that only the president and the vice president have that privilege and not anyone else, including the cabinet.
But however, he was also categorical to say that is a preserve of the police.
Yes.
So those who want escort or to be managed, they go with the police.
They go with the police, yes.
I think even you, Miriam, you can say, no, I help us, we have a procession, we have this, you know, you can stop it. So no wonder even people, when they are marching, they don't go to ZNS.
Yes.
I'm sure they go to police because the police are the ones who are manage traffic. So as you march, the police will regulate to say, you stop, use this lane.
But
yes, no, it's an interesting subject.
It is an interesting subject. But in this case, you don't expect the ZNS commander to be moving around with the police.
But is he mandated to do that? Is the question. It's a difficult question, Miriam.
Yes.
Okay, does the law empower him to stop traffic or to administer traffic? Does it empower ZNS officials?
I wouldn't want to preempt anything right now. But anyway, we have...
But do you think this case will go anywhere? Is it sufficient?
He has a point. Okay, given the fact is that he's a citizen, he is aggrieved, he's also a motorist, and he has a right to an opinion. The police have confirmed of receiving his complaint. We'll see what the police spokesperson will tell us about this.
Yeah, we'll see. Since they've received, they confirmed receiving that. So we'll see the way forward. I think they will advise according whether they are within their means or not within. But one thing that comes to my mind is that we do see cadres, for example, especially during elections, obstructing traffic because they are cadres. But that does not mean that they are within the law.
No.
You understand, right?
They are not within the law.
But we do see them, they broke the car, the others are on top of the vehicles, are on the windows, they are banging the cars, moving, they stop everyone else to say we want to pass. But that does mean they are within the law, even if they are cadres. Are you getting where I'm heading to?
I get your point.
I understand, for example, again, I think there's another reason why protecting the president is a preserve of the Zambia police. And the Zambia police are the ones who protect the president, for the record, Miriam. They're the ones who provide security. So even the vice president and other senior government officials. So the Zambia police is mandated for that. And the Zambia police has a department which is a traffic department.
Yes.
I don't understand where I'm yet to go through. I think I would need to come back and give you so that I go through the Road Traffic Act so that I understand if at all there's special cases for those things, so that we provide a proper feedback pertaining to that.
Yeah.
And like you said, we hear what sort of action the police will take, but sometimes, because when you see you have a rank and everything, you feel why am I should be in traffic when I can? But is it an ambulance? There are exceptions. You understand?
Yes,
there are exceptions. Then sometimes also we do see the DNS officials. Sometimes they have that vehicle that has a siren on top, and that could indicate an emergency. Yeah. So that would also mean that they may be in an express. If they are in an express position and they put that siren there, then they move. They can use that. You see, even security companies, private or public, they do have that, so that they are given way, or they are prioritized even as they move on the road. They may be chasing a thief, so they are prioritized they are given way to move. But I'm not certain on the defense chiefs if they have that privilege, but I think they may have that privilege if they liaise with the other department, that the Zambia police. You understand? Where the Zambia police will say, we need escorts. The army commander has an emergency and has to rush, and the Zambia police will deploy those motorbikes and or probably a traffic vehicle. Then that vehicle be in front, a sweeper, they call them sweepers, and that's what I understand. They will clean the roads then, so that this person can reach, because sometimes these people also usually have emergencies. The Zambia Army, the Zambia National Service, they have emergencies to attend to. So sometimes you do not expect the Zambia Army commander to be stuck in traffic because he has to rush. Probably the president wants a brief from him. So should we be stuck and go and give an excuse of traffic? But maybe, like I'm saying, maybe probably an aspect of coordination with the Zambia police to say, we need escorts. Yeah, we have to have an express. I mean, I think probably those are the provisions that exist. But for now, for that case, that traffic case, we can only wait and see.
Yeah, we can only wait and see from the police spokesperson Ray Amonga to give feedback on the matter and exactly what.
Just like we, you know, that reminds me of a treason case of HH, a traffic offense where he had to overtake a presidential motorcade, and it was a treasonable offense. You understand me? But we did not. We were taken up. We were wondering, say, what's happening? Is it a traffic offense? Is it, what offense is this? We were wondering. You understand? That's what that's not like the case of Mr. Mwan.
In that case, they did, because it was categorized as treason, because we were looking at
the safety of the sitting president
at the time. Yeah. Anyway, let's move forward. What are some of the stories that we have?
So we are going to look at some stories coming from the court. We have a story where the Director of Public Prosecution has denied a Nemchem Cleaning Company Managing Director an opportunity to prosecute a Cleaning Association of Zambia President Lawrence Makumbi. Nemchem Cleaning Company Managing Director Tony Burato lodged a complaint against Mr. Makumbi in Lusaka Magistrate Court for defamation, alleging that he formed a personal union where he is deducting 175,000 from over 7,000 workers. Mr. Burato had requested the DPP to grant him powers to privately prosecute the Cleaning Association of Zambia president, but his proposal has been rejected. When the matter came up Tuesday morning, Lusaka Magistrate Anna Holland discharged Mr. Makumbi. And another story where we have vlogger Simon Mwewa Chitambara has been sentenced to 6 months simple imprisonment for deflating 2 tires of a highest passenger bus which was parked near Simpson Building. Magistrate Fine Muyambu passed the sentence Tuesday morning after establishing that the state had approved their case against Mr. Mwewa beyond doubt. This was in a matter in which Mr. Mwewa deflated tires on a bus parked near Simpson Building, which belongs to Mr. Liki Nyimbili. So we are going to look at these 2 stories that are coming from the court. And in fact, let's just also look at another story where State House has dispelled assertions that government has constructed a second helipad at President Hakainde Hichilema's private residence. Chief Communication Specialist Clayson Hamasaka says those are calling on government to explain the funding are just being petty. So let's have a look at these 3 stories. We'll be back on the other side. Keep it on Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Of January 2024. I'm a free man. Nemchem International and Tony Brato brought me before the subordinate court on flimsy cases. They have failed to convince the DPP to prosecute this matter as a criminal case, and they have been advised to take me in the civil matter. But right now, I am a free person, a free Zambian, a free person who has been trying to be prosecuted by foreigners that have brought me to court and have failed. They have failed to convince the DPP that I have a case to answer. Today, the magistrate court, the subordinate court, has thrown out. They have thrown out this case, making me, Lawrence Makumbi, president of Cleaning Association of Zambia, free for want of prosecution. I am now going out to make sure that I challenge these foreigners in the cleaning sector that have been trying to make me go in on criminal flimsy cases. I am a free man, and I thank the judicial system. I thank the justice system for seeing through criminal foreigners that have come into Zambia to come and intimidate Zambians using the judicial system. I thank God I thank the judiciary for this freedom that I have been given.
As Simon Mwewa, a Lusaka businessman, begins his 6-month sentence, the community reflects on the need for respect for personal property. Mr. Mwewa, who is also a social media vlogger popularly known as Simon Mwewa Len, has booked himself a 6-month jail sentence after the Lusaka Magistrate Court found him guilty of deflating 2 tires of a high passenger bus which was parked near his Simpson building. Magistrate Fine Mayamu passed the sentence Tuesday morning after establishing that the state had proved their case against Mr. Mwewa beyond reasonable doubt. In passing its judgment, the court said it was disappointing to see someone who is meant to be a role model in society behave in such a manner, further ruling that members of society look up to someone like him, adding that he acted irresponsibly. As a way of sending a warning to would-be offenders, the magistrate said he was going to send him to jail for a period of 6 months, effective the 9th of January. The convict was slapped with 1 count of malicious damage, contrary to the laws of Zambia, an offense that carries a maximum sentence of 2 years. During trial, Rick Nyambili, the owner of the bus, had narrated before court that the bus was parked in a queue since it loads from City Market. He had testified that he parked his bus on Kalusha-Walia Road near Simpson Building, waiting for his turn to load passengers, and he saw the convict deflating his tires and left without saying a thing. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Oh my goodness. Where? There are 2 where. Also want to be concentrating on big issues where the crisis in the country, we have to sort out cholera, someone can just take on your path. You know, helicopter path. That thing is just a trap. Let's carry a trap. You know, like this, you can't watch a trap. So those things, the trap. Let's tell them they are being petty.
Since 1997, Zambia has faced challenges in having proper sanitation structures, which with time has initiated the recurrence of cholera in the country. Since the outbreak of cholera in October 2023, about 100 cases of the disease are recorded on a daily basis, forcing the country's health authorities to institute measures to the cases the country has faced. The Zambia Medical Association has proposed to the government to urgently activate the recruitment of 4,000 health workers for 2024 as a measure to cushion the shortage of health workers in the country amidst the outbreak of cholera.
Indeed, there's a shortage of healthcare workers and overall to attend to this outbreak. What our call is as Zambia Medical Association is that given that we already have a budget plan for recruiting 4,000 health workers in 2024, is that we activate this recruitment, ensure that we begin recruiting the health workers now rather than waiting for the due normal processes to take place. An outbreak of such magnitude and calling on, of course, which has demonstrated the need for more healthcare workers, calls for urgent action from the government. That is our call as Zambia Medical Association.
But when contacted for a comment, Ministry of Health spokesperson says the ministry has made progress in the recruitment of health workers as it awaits Treasury approval, and explains that measures such as the deploying of health volunteers have been taken to beef up the staffing levels at cholera treatment centers.
We've actually mobilized health workers who are volunteering, and they're actually being united. But for the long-term plan, we actually want to activate the recruitment of the 4,000 health workers. So the discussions are actually underway.
Cholera is an acute diarrhea infection caused by the intake of contaminated food or water and is mostly associated with stigma in Zambia. Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka. So there you have it. Those are some of the stories that were making the headlines here on the Camnet main news as of last evening, and we're zooming some of them to just remind you in case you missed the bulletin. And we looked at a story pertaining to the issue pertaining to the Cleaning Association of Zambia, where the DPP has declined to grant NEMCAM permission to prosecute the matter privately. And we also had a story that was trending yesterday pertaining to vlogger Simon Chitambara, who has been sentenced to 6 months simple imprisonment. And we also looked at the story pertaining to the health recruitment, and the story where State House dispelled allegations that it is building another helipad at President Hakainde Hichilema's residence. And this is part of the campaign that has been championed by the opposition pertaining to the issue of President Hakainde Hichilema at his residence, where they are saying the head of state should not be using his residence for official duties, and that may be tantamount to abuse of authority. And abuse of office by trying to facilitate privileges for his personal facilities.
We have seen that a lot of opposition leaders have come on board and echoed on that matter. Among them, we have seen Sean Tembo, who is the
he even took the matter to the level of the court.
Yes, even took the matter to the Constitutional Court, where he's saying that the president should move to State House. And
where is that case?
Well, the case is still being heard before the courts of law. Submissions are being made from both parties because he had sued the government, citing the Attorney General. So we have seen that, government has still continued to respond to his allegations that he is making out there in his petition. But the court is yet to give its final verdict on the matter. Yeah. Okay,
so I think that will also that issue will also help bring closure
to the debate.
Yeah, the debate has been there since President Hakainde Hichilema took over office. That is in 2021, and we hope to wind up on that matter.
Exactly, Patrick, and this is where anyway, before we come to the end of the program, the other interesting story we saw was of Simon Mwewa, who was yesterday sentenced to 6 months in jail for malicious damage of 2 tires for a minibus bus driver. It's a quite interesting story. When Mr. Mwewa was found with a case to answer, apparently he had opted to remain silent when he was requested by the court which form of evidence he's going to give before court to defend himself. He opted to remain silent, and this is a matter where he didn't even have legal representation. Yeah.
Are you telling me that he wanted to be in?
Not really, but if he was to calculate this matter, I think he didn't see it as a way of maybe he would be sentenced to that period, 6 months. He thought maybe he was going to be requested to find the guy, pay the owner of the bus money, or compensate the man he damaged those tires for. But anyway, with the court, anything is an ambush, especially when it comes to criminal matters, not as civil matters.
My question is that probably the tires would have costed you about 30,000.
Yeah.
Was it just a matter of talking about this issue to say, okay, let me compensate you, let me buy the tire for you?
Exactly. I think.
Was it necessary to start frequenting the court?
No, I think it would. Before the matter would even reach to court, I think there was room for him to sit down with the owner of the bus and see how they can resolve this issue without, escalating the matter beyond, so that it reaches the
Is it a question of arrogance to say you can do whatever you want?
Well, I don't know the engagement they had.
Because my thinking is that, Miriam, whenever you have a case, first of all, this case is usually at police level.
Yes, and most of the times the police would even advise maybe if there's a way where you can resolve issues before they are taken to court. But if they think that issues cannot be resolved amongst yourselves, then they will advise that then you take the matter to court.
It's a matter of property. And that property is not like, it's replaceable.
It's replaceable.
So, and you can talk over that to say, okay, let me buy you those tires.
Yeah,
you understand? And that issue would have been resolved even at police level. When we're talking about justice dispensation, we also talk about the alternative ways of alternative dispute resolution mechanisms.
Yes.
So we can resolve matters without wasting the court's time. Because, you know, you can imagine others, you know, that others are remandees in court. They haven't even, they are not being taken to court. You know, and we're wasting time for the court.
Exactly, Patrick. That's the more reason why we have seen even the court advice. There are certain cases that are not even supposed to reach the courtroom. Because we have a lot of cases before the courts of law. I'll give you an example. I had a conversation with a lawyer yesterday. He was telling me that, you know, he is representing someone who has stayed in jail for 5 years. This person has stayed in jail for 5 years without being taken before a court. Patrick, imagine for 5 years you have been in court, you don't know when you are going to appear before court for your trial. And in December last year,
but which isn't that already incarceration?
Yes, it is, but he does not know his fate because a verdict has not been passed on him. So last year in December 2023, that is when he was given a date to now appear before the High Court for the first time for his trial.
Even the owner of the case, you may not find someone has died, or someone, I'm no longer interested in prosecuting this case, and you find the case has no witnesses.
So these are the issues that we need to look at. And these are, he was telling me that, you know, these are so much things that go on in these our prisons. That's the more reason when we're talking about decongesting the prisons, these are some of the things that we need to look at. Why would you keep someone for 5 years in court?
And again, that reminds me, for example, for people like even Mr. Mwewa, I think you look at provisions such as suspended sentence, where probably he should be given community sentence, where he likes doing clean and sanitation matters.
He's an
let him be cleaning Cairo Road and making sure that the Cairo Road is clean.
Yes.
And you avoid going to add more people there.
The court, anyway, Patrick, just to comment on that fact, the court did allude to the fact that, you know, Mr. Mwewa, they did acknowledge that he's a role model to society and a lot of people look up to him. But his action, he got a knife and, you know, deflated the tires. His action was so irresponsible because he did not care whether there were passengers in that bus or not. Okay, so the court was looking at an action where if there were passengers in that bus, what damage would have, you know, the implication, the injury would have caused to those passengers. So in passing its ruling, those are some of the things that, you know, it did look at. But I think that nevertheless, I think Mr. Simon would want to, because I've seen a lot of people like Mao Samba, the faction leader for the Patriotic Front, he did post something on his page yesterday, you know, suggesting about, you know, coming to the aid of Mr. Mwewa so that, you know, they can assist him with legal representation so that he can apply for bail pending appeal. I think those are some of the means that he would, you know, want to explore, at the moment.
So now, bail, now you are just confirming something for me. Bail pending appeal is a preserve of the rich.
Well, not really.
Yes.
Not really, Patrick.
But yes,
bail pending.
Yes, really.
Listen.
Yes, really. You mentioned another interesting aspect. You brought in an issue of a lawyer.
Exactly.
So
but we have legal aid lawyers.
It means money has to work. We bring a lawyer. So yourself, you cannot manage to do those things.
But we have legal aid lawyers. That is one thing that you should.
Why did Mr. Mwewa seek legal aid lawyers?
I really don't know. That is up to him now. Okay? I really don't know. That is now his personal decision. But anyway, you should understand that bail pending appeal, again, it's at the discretion of the court. The court might wish to grant him that bail or refuse. I'll give an example of the couple, the Lusaka couple that was jailed for owing the 48 houses, the infamous 48 houses. When they were sentenced to, 2 years imprisonment by the court, they appealed the decision, okay? They applied for bail pending appeal, but the court declined their application for bail. So meaning they're still in.
But Mr. Mwewa, it's not like a too complicated case.
Well,
and that may be granted. But however, now the question is this. is it even necessary? Because the months are just 6 months. And you start pending appeal. You would have saved just that time, so that you move on once and for all. Because the way the matter was handled at the lower court level, it means that the matter won't be heard in a fresh, like providing fresh evidence. No. Because the upper court may even uphold that sentence, and may even add some more. You understand?
Yes.
So, is it even necessary for that?
You are correct. Another example is of the former Minister of Community,
Emerin Kamachi.
You know that, is it 2020, she was found guilty and sentenced to 2 years imprisonment.
Yes. Bail pending appeal. Bail pending appeal.
Yes, she did apply for bail pending appeal. But what happened last year?
No, she should have finished the sentence. Yes. You understand?
What happened last year is that the higher court, which is the Lusaka, the High Court, did uphold the judgment of the lower court and said the court was right and sentenced her.
So she should have winded up the
exactly.
sentence.
So those are other factors that people should look at. But anyway, like you said earlier on, there are certain cases that are not even supposed to reach the courtroom because you can easily resolve them amongst yourself at police level. Yes, to avoid inconveniencing the judges, because the judges already, the magistrate, have a lot of cases that they need to deal with. But there's these small cases. For example, you find someone has stolen a chicken, someone has stolen 2 pairs of stockings in these chain stores, especially these chain stores. You find even 100 kwacha, someone is being brought to court, and that is a very sad situation. If you can easily resolve these issues at police stage, and maybe this person can be even made to do some community service rather than spending a 6 months
you
jail
compare that
sentence.
person to work and you get that money back.
Exactly.
You can go and wash plates and recover the socks.
Go and wash plates.
The money for stockings.
Exactly.
You understand. So to avoid wasting the court's time, like you said, so that we give space that for those people who are in custody to be able to be going for court sessions, and also given that we have a lot of corruption-related cases that are before the courts. I understand we may have different jurisdiction pertaining to, we have the special court handling the financial crimes court, but we don't have special judges. These judges are all over. They are the same people who are also handling the same cases. So we need to make sure that we minimize on the work of the court.
Yes, we're talking about them finishing these, especially cases to do with corruption cases under the Specialized Economic and Financial Crimes Court. We're talking about them finishing up these cases within a period of 5 months.
Yes.
But how possible is it? Because they have other cases that they need to look at.
And that reminds me, just like now we have the issue of cholera. We understand that we are not proactive. No wonder we have cholera at the moment.
Yes.
We can do the same with the Zambia Police, the Ministry of Home Affairs. They need to make sure that they also focus on crime prevention.
Yes.
To avoid, so that if we are preventing, we are creating better societies that where crime rates are reduced. It means that the courts will no longer be overwhelmed.
Yes.
The police cells or prison or correctional facilities won't be overwhelmed. So we'll be managing this situation better. But if we are going to be passive, it means if we are having high crime rate, it means that the courts will be overwhelmed, the police will be overwhelmed, the correctional facilities will be overwhelmed, and you can imagine us fighting cholera if the facilities are congested. It is difficult to understand. Maintaining sanitation when there are many people is not easy. You know that. Yes. So how do we do that? So we can also be proactive as a country, as a people, as a society, even us as the media. We contribute to that, to make sure that we create a society where we equally prevent crime.
And the idea, Patrick, not to cut you short, but the idea of the reason why the prison was changed from being prison to being court correctional facility, the idea is for people to reform.
Yes.
We're not sending there to punish these people, but to reform, to become better people, so that when they reintegrate back into society, they are changed, completely changed. I think we are not getting it right. It's like, a lot of our men and women in uniform, the idea for them is to, when they make these arrests, is like, okay, we are working. No, the idea is to ensure that we have a better society at the end of the day. People reform and not punishing people. I think if we start understanding that, definitely what you are talking about, we will be able to achieve.
To achieving the status of Zambia, our prisons being correctional facilities, requires a lot of efforts. It's not just making sure, no, we are giving them mattresses. It is beyond that. We have to make sure that these issues we're talking about, rights, food, nutrition, there are people in incarceration who are on HIV that need treatment. That treatment has to be given to them adequately. They shouldn't be lacking. So there are cross-cutting issues that need to be attended to when we are talking about a correctional facility. Education has to be enhanced. We understand now people come out of these facilities with certificates, but what opportunities are we creating for them outside? All those interventions need to be enhanced for us to really create that perception that these are correctional facilities.
Exactly. Anyway, this is where we come to the end of our program this morning. It has been Miriam Kaimba and Patrick Soko, as well as our controlling IT personnel, Isaac Chepita. For now, it's bye-bye and stay blessed.